Great. So, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining our August 2025 Zeek Community Call. Seeing plenty of familiar faces here, so welcome back. Can't believe another month has already gone by. So just a reminder, in case folks are maybe watching this recording later, these calls are hosted every month by members of the Zeek Leadership Team. They're open to anyone to join, questions, just want to be a fly on the wall and listen. Everyone's welcome to hop in. We typically share project and training updates. We also share a few community reminders, and typically there's time at the end if anyone does have any other discussion topics or questions they want to bring. We welcome that as well. So I'm sure we have a couple of interesting things going on this month. I know that the Zeek 8 release is just around the corner, so it's very exciting for the open source team. I personally will be taking some time later to share highlights from the recent community survey, and I'm sure there's a couple other updates from the team as well. So let's get into it. Johanna, do you mind kicking us off with any LT updates?
Sure, there are only smaller updates this time, but we have a couple of small things. So first, in the next couple of weeks, we'll start off our next cycle of our yearly LT election, where 3 of the 6 seats will be up. In case you are interested in this, keep looking at our forum, especially with all of the information about how that works and how you can nominate yourself will be up. I think I'll start posting about that there next week. Apart from that, the LT spent a little bit of time talking about the current state of the Benefit Corporation. In case you haven't been paying attention, the Zeek Benefit Corporation is where the copyrights for the Zeek trademarks will be held. Currently, they are held by the International Computer Science Institute in Berkeley. That is a little bit stalled, and we are currently waiting on the answers by a lawyer. But this should hopefully get moving again within the next couple of weeks. Apart from that, in the last LT meeting, meeting of the Zeek Leadership Team, we talked a little bit about Ashish's experiences, about presenting at the first conference in Denmark, I think. And we also talked a little bit about something that Michelle mostly worked in for a while, which is she talked a little bit about the current state of the Zeek community and what we might do, what we should try doing potentially different in the future, things that we might want to address. And I think apart from that, not much has been happening. There's been a lot of vacation going out.
Vacation is a very important agenda topic. Thanks, Johanna. Christian, project news.
Yeah, sure. So I'll be relatively brief today, but the obvious biggie is that RC1 for Zeek 8 is out. Tim released it on Monday, I believe. And please kick the tires on it. Let us know if you find any issues. It is, I think, looking increasingly likely that we might need an RC2, but that doesn't matter here. Like, just please take a look. I think there will be a few more details in the newsletter that is about to come out, Michelle. Thank you. And once it's out, we'll say a lot more about the features in there. We're basically planning to be a little bit more bite-sized about this time. So that's really exciting. I think July in particular was really sort of nice to see in terms of what came together there in the last few weeks. And that aside, there are new patch releases for the 2 existing release trains. So if you are on 7.2 or 7.0, there is 7.09 for the LTS release train, and there's 7.2.2 for that line. Both containing security fixes and bug fixes. So if you're running on those, then please upgrade. I think that's pretty much it. We'll be at hack.lu later in the year in Luxembourg in October. I wanted to make sure to mention that in case anybody is interested in meeting up with us there, please do. And I think that's all I have. Back to you, Michelle. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Christian. All right, so I wanted to take just a few minutes and talk about the survey that many of you took the time to fill out. I have just a couple of slides prepared, so let me see if I can share that. Christian, can I get a thumbs up? You can see that
Looks
deck?
great. Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. All right, let me move some things around. Hopefully keep this to maybe under 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes. So, as many of you know, we ran a community survey, kicked off from late June and ran through about mid-July. And I just wanted to share with everyone here and those who are watching, and just share those findings, share what some of the responses were, and really just walk through kind of what we learned, what we're thinking about based off that survey feedback, and some next steps for us just to hold our team accountable. So I had a few goals in mind when I launched this survey. At the kind of most basic level, I still consider myself new to Zeek and new to the team, new in my role as community liaison. And I wanted to really just get an understanding, both quantitative and qualitative, of the current Zeek community. I really wanted to know how people are using it today, where people are maybe hitting friction, what people's successes are using Zeek, and also what would help them get more out of it. Really thinking about how people want to engage with Zeek as a project, but also as kind of this broader open source community. So this survey was really part of an effort on my end to better understand you all as a group, your needs, your frustrations, and any ideas that you have. And then this next phase will be kind of working with the Zeek team, both the leadership team and the open source team, to make sure that we're focusing on the right things for everyone. That is something that matters a lot to me. So, I want to be transparent and say I didn't run this survey just to say I did it, just to check a box off of my to-do list. I will speak for the rest of the team and say that they also are not interested in that. And we've already kind of started beginning to think through how we can take your feedback and put it into action. So that's something that I'm very excited about. So before we get into kind of the takeaways, here's a quick snapshot of who we heard from. So we heard from 90 people across 20 countries, a strong mix of very experienced and seasoned Zeek users, new folks who were just kind of getting started, and really everyone in between. We saw people who had been using Zeek for less than 6 months and over 10 years, which is really cool to see. Most respondents said that they kind of are actively working in security roles and wear many hats. Folks kind of identified across multiple sectors and roles, including analysts, engineers, threat hunters. We also heard from people in academia as researchers and educators. Some people said that they run Zeek in production every single day. Others are kind of just getting started and exploring and kind of just getting to the tip of the iceberg of what's possible with Zeek. When it came to contributions, half said that they had contributed to Zeek before in some way, and the other half said they have not. But a lot of those people said that they were interested in playing a more active role in contributing to the project, which is a great thing to hear. So that range of kind of experience and perspective and background is something that I'm really trying to keep in mind as we think about what's next, especially when it comes to the type of content we build, the documentation for all of the work that the team does, and in general, how we support and engage with each other as a community and as people who use Zeek. All right, so I got a couple of takeaways, and we'll talk about for the next few minutes about what we learned and what we're seeing. So I pulled a couple of things that really I just saw kind of coming up again and again in responses. And these are going to be the signals that we're using to shape where we go next. So I'll be kind of walking through each one, share some of the feedback that we heard, and then also how both myself and kind of the greater team is thinking about that feedback moving forward. All right, so number one, Zeek is a powerful tool, but it's not the easiest tool. People are using it in all kinds of ways, from kind of these larger scale projects to research labs. Even some folks shared that they were kind of using it in a home setup. Despite kind of this wide range of use, a lot of people, especially newer users, said that it's just hard to use. Even a couple of the more experienced people recalled that they, really found the learning curve steep when they were getting started, and even still kind of find it tricky at times to utilize. Something that came up a lot was the scripting language. Docs were another common theme, and I'll talk a little bit more about documentation on the next slide. People said that they were difficult to navigate. It was hard to know kind of what was current. People requested maybe having some more examples to show how to apply some of the concepts into practice. A lot of people just said, I just don't know where to begin. So none of this here was particularly surprising. This is a lot of the feedback that I got in my first month as community liaison, when I was having a lot of one-on-one conversations. But I'm excited to hear it here in the survey, because it will give the team a clear direction of what to focus on next. So that includes things like improvements to documentation, making it easier and cleaner, easier to follow and cleaner, give some examples, new use cases, and even something like developing new resources to help new users get up and running quickly without maybe that feeling of overwhelm, or that common feeling of getting stuck. So building on that theme, documentation, of course, emerged as a key pain point. Again, hard to navigate, hard to search, lacking clear examples, maybe sometimes missing important context. Not only a beginner's issue, a lot of experienced users found the Zeek documentation a little bit frustrating at times. So that is something that is front and center for the team moving forward. Definitely thinking about how we can reorganize that documentation, maybe even rewrite some of it in certain cases, and really having that goal in mind of having a clear path to help everyone find the information that they need quickly and easily. All right, the next takeaway is related to contribution. I was really excited to see that there is a lot of interest around contributing to Zeek. We saw that a lot of people, while interested, mentioned that they were kind of just unsure of how to get involved and where to begin. A lot of people surprisingly shared that they didn't really feel confident in their ability to contribute or qualified. So that was also something that I found a little bit interesting. People saying that they had many years of experience working with Zeek, and yet they didn't feel qualified to be a contributor. That's something that I'm personally interested in digging into a little bit more and having some more conversations. So on the survey, we did ask if anyone wanted to get involved to leave their email address. I've already reached out to those folks to kind of have another follow-up conversation. From there, I'm going to ask them how they feel most comfortable contributing, even if it's something as simple as a short blog post that shares how they typically use Zeek. That's kind of like the most basic thing that I'm thinking about. We can also scale up and make it kind of a video or a tutorial. Anything that they're curious about contributing and giving back to the community is something that I'm interested in exploring. Nothing is really off the table there. So that's kind of my first step in the contributor realm. And as I work with those interested parties, I'm kind of hoping that at the same time we can build out and identify more beginner-friendly tasks. Maybe even make some documentation that explicitly shares the different ways to contribute. Really just wanting to make it easier for everyone to get involved. Last thing here before we wrap up and kind of look ahead. We also asked what improvements or features you wanted to see next on the Zeek roadmap, and we received a lot of great suggestions. I shared this list with the open source team last week, and we even chatted a bit about it in our team meeting yesterday, and it seems like folks are generally very receptive and excited by some of the ideas. As far as next steps go here, I'll say that the 8.0 release is kind of a top priority in this moment. But these requests are definitely on our radar. And I think after that release in a couple of weeks, we'll kind of have a clearer path on how to address those requests. And we can follow up on that in the coming weeks and months. All right, so those were kind of the big headlines that I noticed from the survey responses. And I wanted to wrap up by just zooming out and sharing kind of what the community can expect from the Zeek leadership team and the open source team right now. First thing, as I mentioned, I'm focusing really on getting more people involved in the project, starting with those who told us that they were interested in learning how to contribute. If you are here with us right now, or you're watching the recording and you're interested too, please speak up and let me know. You could, write blog posts, speak at events, any way to kind of share use cases or other ways to just generally help out with the project. There are plenty of ways to contribute, and I can't state that enough. At the same time, I'm beginning to think about some of these longer term projects like documentation. I am hopefully going to start thinking about how to tackle that project. I think it'll be a huge team effort and many phases involved, with lots of feedback and iterating and getting into a place where we feel good about it. Also thinking about developing new learning resources, things like tutorials, walkthroughs. We're experimenting with the 8.0 release and making a couple of quick explainer videos and guides to help people kind of get up to speed more quickly and in a new and interesting way. And all of this really just points to building better opportunities for collaboration within the community. I want to make sure that whether you're an engineer or a researcher or you're a student and you're just trying Zeek out, I want to make sure that there are just like very clear and easy pathways for people to contribute or learn or really just grow the skills that they already have with Zeek. I think that's very important to me. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share. And I wanted to just give a thank you again to people who took the time to respond to the survey. I know those can be a lot when everyone has so much going on these days, but I do just want to kind of ensure people that the feedback is already helping us kind of think about how we're going to build the project moving forward. And if you didn't get a chance to take the survey, my Slack DMs are definitely always open if you ever have feedback or thoughts or ideas. Something I'm hoping to really establish is just that open line of communication. So it's just the beginning. Very excited for the upcoming projects and all the work we're going to do on it. And hopefully in a couple of months, we can report back and say, hey, remember these 2 or 3 things that stood out to us? Here's what we did about it. And, we can kind of start that feedback cycle again. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. And if anyone has thoughts, feedback, questions, I'm definitely open to continuing that discussion. So thank you. And if anyone has any other general announcements or questions related to the project, I feel like these last couple minutes can also be used for that, unless Christian or Johanna have anything else they want to share.
No, I'm just noticing that I think Menard asked when the next meeting is, and I think you were referring to the community call, probably, Menard, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's the
you said that.
first Wednesday of the month, so I believe it is the 3rd. Let's see.
That
Yes,
sounds.
September 3rd.
Mhm.
And also note that on our website, there's a calendar that has all of these, and you can subscribe to it.
But yeah, Menard, that sounds that would be great. Please do.
Yeah, I can. We can follow up after this call. Awesome. Well, if no one else has anything to share, I feel like we can wrap up this call, and we'll see everyone in September. Awesome. Take care, everyone.
Sounds great.
See you around.
Thanks,